So
How y'all doing?
we're doing fine, thank you. And
Good.
you?
I am hanging in there. I just got done watching The Ugly Stepsister for the third time. I
Oh,
haven't seen it since April, so I wanted to kind of re acquaint myself with the film. So you guys, I mean, this is so well deserved that y'all are getting attention for the makeup and hairstyling. I've been saying it all along. This is something that people need to reward. So my first question is, the word cringe came to mind when I walked out of my first screening back in April of this film. Were you purposely going for as much cringe as you possibly could get?
Yeah. Wouldn't you say so?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also a reflection of both the of course, the fairy tale, which is in
Mm.
the grim version, pretty grim, and then something with the way we live our lives today, which is also,
Yeah.
if you really dig into it, pretty cringe. Yeah.
Yeah, because normal movies, we don't want to hear the word cringe. You know what I mean? But this movie, you do want to hear the word cringe in a good way. Cringe
Yeah.
in a good way. So it's great. All right. So the teeth and the nose and the eyelash sequences are disgusting in the film. What went into making these sequences stand out so much for the film?
Mm. I mean, they were all these makeup effects were so we talked them through a lot. I mean, there were when I read it the first time, I thought, wow, this is really something. But how should we do it? First of all, budgets in Scandinavia aren't that big. One thing, and also what direction was it? Was it going to be really realistic? Was it going to be something different? What's actually so luckily, Emily, the director, had some really good ideas about what she actually wanted style-wise, even though it was a little hard to grasp for me in the beginning. So, but what I'm trying to say is just that we came up with these different solutions where it's part makeup and part actor and then merged together in VFX afterwards. There's no CGI in it; it's only merged shots. So it is what you see is what was shot, but on different parts, puppet parts, dummy parts, and stuff. So a lot of thought went actually into it.
Well, that's fantastic. All right. So the scene involving the feet was one of the most gruesome things I've seen all year, or in quite a while, actually. Explain the process that went into the cutting the feet off, toes
Yeah.
off, or whatever you will.
It was, of course, it was kind of a like really important part in the film. That maybe the most important effect for Emily at the beginning to talk about, and we talked about it as the very first thing in the first meetings. So first of all, of course, we had to break down what do you actually want to see, how is it going to happen, and how are we going to actually do it. So we came up with this idea with a fake leg, prosthetic leg that's attached to her, and then with some inserts with some dummy parts. But again, the interesting part here, which was so difficult to find out, was where's the line between realism and cartoon and what are we actually doing style wise? So we came up with this very kind of stylized version of reality. It was really important that it had to look good but look fake, if that makes sense. It had to have that
Well,
flavor.
well, let me tell you something. I couldn't tell. I watch a lot of movies, probably between 500 and 700 movies a year. I could not tell that was a fake prosthetic leg. That looked so real to me. I just like, yeah, I'm doing this because that is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. So you did your job well because you got me, and I see. I don't get
You're
scared.
welcome.
I don't get scared in horror movies. I literally do not get scared in a horror movie. This movie is one of the most gruesome things I've seen in a long time. Um,
Because it's so close to reality in a lot of ways. I think you should do yourself a favor and go and see Thomas' Instagram page afterwards, because there's like really detailed things, how everything is made, and also the food. And the food, if you like to see half of the food, it's like, it just looks like a food, like completely like a food. Yeah, else you would have posted it.
No, no. But it
but
was
but that's the whole movie is like this. How do we integrate the
yeah.
fairy tale, the visions we all have in our head about what it's, because we're in Europe, the grim version is also kind of present, and that is one key thing, and so a saying that you cut off your toes and your heel. So it's like it's a picture in everybody's head, and to take this picture out of people's head and actually make it real is also a little bit like saying, what does plastic surgery actually look like? Because it's like this vibe of it is like we see the before and the swelling, but we are never in the room, and here we are in the room of this.
Yeah. Well, that's, that leads me to, what about this specific version, this Disney, obviously this isn't the Disney version, but this Disney classic that everybody knows. Everybody knows the story of Cinderella. What was it about this particular Disney story lent itself to being turned into this version that you guys are turning it into?
I think Emilia did a really brilliant thing of taking something that, as you say, everybody know it in either the Grimm version or the Disney version. Every person, I almost dare to say, on Earth knows Cinderella. And we all feel for this woman, the Cinderella, who's been treated so horribly. And what Emilia did so brilliantly was just twisting it a little bit and seeing it from the stepsister. And then it's like suddenly you realize, oh my God, we're all the stepsister. There's one, Emilia always says, there's one Cinderella, and the rest of us is like trying to fit in somehow. So that's why I think it's such a brilliant idea to build a movie on the base of something that everybody knows, and then making it real, like a fairy tale. And would it be like if it was real?
Yeah, because you see these other versions of these, like Winnie the Pooh and all this stuff, and it's like that's so just far-fetched off to left field, and yours is so grounded in more of a realistic way, yet it had all that cringeworthy makeup and hair styling and what you guys did with the prosthetics, and it made it more real to me, more than the Winnie the Poohs and all that stuff out there. We don't want to, but it's just like, I wouldn't mind seeing more of this type of stuff. If you're going to take the Disney stories and stuff, this is the avenue I would rather see more filmmakers going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would like to do it.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Yeah. Well, obviously one at a time. You got to see how obviously this one's resonated with people enough. You know what I mean? But I was impressed with the performance of young actress Leah Myron. Can you speak to the collaborative process with her? Obviously, they put her through hell in this movie.
Oh yes, I mean, first time I've heard of her when I asked about the cast, and she was the first one that was cast because it's mainly written with her in mind. And I was talking to the director and production about this is going to be really tough for the actor, whoever you want to do this, but it's going to be really demanding. And they were, yeah, but she can do it. She's a tough girl. And then I met her and heard about her background in like body theater. Even though she's very young, she has done quite a lot already. And you could just feel that she was definitely the right one for it, because first of all, she's a brilliant actor, but she's also extremely good in wearing the prosthetics. She could cope with the difficult parts, and she has an excellent body memory. So doing these effect shots was also really, really easy. That's not always easy, because if people are not that good body memory wise, then it can actually be quite tricky to act with a prosthetic leg or whatever. So she was definitely a huge part of it, and she just took every day of shooting.
She was such a good sport. You could do, like, as long as it made sense, you could kind of like do everything to her.
Yeah.
And she would work with it.
She really worked with it, and I think we got a really good collaboration going. And we did the Elvira makeup in the chubby version. We did 25 times, I think it was, or 27, and the rest of it was just pretty gruesome stuff in different ways. And then a few days with her beautiful look. So, but she took it all. So she was really good, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was fantastic. I was like, I'll tell you what, she is an absolute sport for going through what you guys put her through, because not a lot of actors could do that. You know what I mean? something I want to kind of get into is in America, there's this pushing for parents to step into their children's lives, try to make them look better or play a sport better, or sing or dance better. Or, for example, what do you guys have to say about parental meddling in their children's lives or upbringings? Because this really shows you maybe parents should kind of step back a little bit. That's just my opinion. Not being a parent. I'm not a parent, I might add.
Well, definitely Elvira should live out the dreams of the mother that is not possible for her. And that is maybe an advice as a parent to other parents, is like, your kids are not there to make your dreams come true.
Step back.
Kids are, and
I've coached a lot of sports, and I've seen a lot of parents where they try to live vicariously through their kids. You know what I mean? And this is a prime example of the mother trying to live vicariously through her daughter to a detriment. You know what I mean? I mean, she puts her through so much stuff that I don't think it was necessary. But I mean, for the sake of the movie, it was necessary. But you know what I mean? I just felt bad. I kind of felt bad for her in a lot of ways. You know, I guess was I supposed to feel bad for her? You know,
But for the mother?
No, for the daughter. The daughter.
Of course you are. I mean, the thing is, the idea is very much, which I think is such a brilliant thought, that she's just a teenager. She's moldable. She has this teenage idol crush on her hero. It could be a pop hero. He's like, whoa. And then suddenly she gets a chance getting close to him. And combined with the mother's ambition and lack of money, she goes insane. And it's kind of not like, Elvira is so young, so you can't really blame her for going insane the way she does, because she is like, it's her hero. She gets a chance, she will do anything to marry the prince. And that's why I love this take so much on it, because we all the time think that she's evil, but she's just a teenager.
She's just confused.
She's just young and confused, and she's in love with a Justin Bieber-esque person. She just want to meet her idol, and she do. And there's all these lovely scenes in the beginning where she gets invited to the ball, and hair going, I'm going at the ball, and it's. I think it's lovely, because I think you should feel sorry for her. You should feel that this is something going wrong, and that's why the sister is so good all the time, because she's all the time like normality. She's all the time
the conscience. She's like a conscience.
Exactly. And she's all the time. Our director said we should always think, where's she? What would she think of that? And we really thought a lot about that. She's like, this is insane all the time. Yeah.
Her sister truly loved her. Cared about her, unlike the mother. But that's a whole nother. The
mother has also gone at some point in her teenage years, she gone crazy too.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because it's like the mother part we really thought a lot about, also because we kind of made her up so heavily, and so like taking the whole period look and then adding makeup is normally, when you see a period look, it will be very clean and very, just made it so violent. But somehow I hope in there you can also feel that she's just trying to do what she thinks is right for all of them. As the sporting parents, they want to do what they think is the best, but you just should stop, be the sister, look at it. Is this sane?
Yeah, I got you. All right, so now obviously this is the elephant in the room. The tapeworm scene, wow. That was ridiculous. That was like the icing on top of the cake. What went into that? How did I just make that just like, oh my God, what am I watching here?
That was ridiculous in many ways. First of all, reading it was ridiculous, because you thought, okay, this is what is. Well, I just to get back to the beginning, that when I read the script at first, I think I read it like almost 6 months before we were actually shooting, and I didn't think any of it would actually become anything. I thought it would be all taken down, written out, as it usually happens in Scandinavia. But it made it, and it took a lot of talking and a lot of ingenuity to find out how do we do this. But most of all, Lea's acting was just the thing that actually made it work, because that was a hard one to pull off, what she was going through with worm parts in her mouth and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I was just like, what the heck? They are just not holding back here. They're
No.
just going the next level to the
Yeah.
next level to the
Yeah.
next level,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
you just absolutely like, oh my God, this is the most disgusting thing ever. You know what I mean?
It
But
was.
that's, uh,
Yeah, and one thing that was for all the effect shots, Emilia's vision was actually her thing was that she wanted it to be a really long cut. It had to be a long sequence, so we couldn't really rely on the usual things that you can cut in and out very fast and get kind of some really crazy shots, but maybe in 10 frames, 20 frames, whatever. No, she wanted to have like 10, 15 seconds of shots, just like in the toe sequence as well. So that was a thing. She literally wanted people to feel uncomfortable, and then when they're looking away, if they look back again, it's still there. So having these really long, horrific sequences. So what we actually did was it ended up being quite simple in some ways. That we had like a little thing I did for her mouth that could pull in a worm from one side and then out in the middle, so it came from the right spot. And then we had done like several meters of this worm, so we could pull that out, and then the remaining part was removed digitally afterwards. The one coming out of the side of the mouth, and then together with a puppet head with some other worms that were squished out and then layered on top of each other in VFX. So it was both a pure practical thing, but also with some VFX comp on top. And a lot of slime. I mean, it was a horrible day because she was literally, we had like 1 cup of thick slime, 1 cup of thinner slime, and then the mouth, and it was like, okay, ready to shoot. Okay, one tip, already. And then she just did these long shots. It was like insane, but really interesting.
all right. So look, we all like to eat. We all like to have a good meal. Every once in a while, we like to have our snacks or cupcakes or whatever. How did the food scenes kind of fit in with what you guys were doing with the prosthetics and hairstyle? Because some of them food scenes were pretty disgusting.
Yeah, you think about the different
the cake
the
as well. The
cake.
cake was specially made,
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
ruin the prosthetics.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, and yeah. Then there was these eating sequences and stuff. Yeah, but it wasn't like, yeah, no, that much of a thought actually from our side. It was like,
No, okay,
yeah,
all right. So obviously she gets the dress, the nice fancy dress and all that stuff, and she's got to go to the ball. That dress is a key thing in the movie because she's got to try to dress up and look, and the whole time she's like feeling sick and stuff. How did you incorporate the costumes and stuff like that into what you guys are doing with the makeup and hair and prosthetics and stuff like that? Because the costumes play an interesting part in the movie.
Yeah, well, we had a really amazing. All of us actually know each other quite well. The costume
yeah,
designer Manon has done a credible amount of period dramas, and I did a lot of them with her. And Thomas and I have worked together for so long, so it was like very fast. This idea, what's the whole thing gonna look like, was kind of easy for us to work together on, because it was kind of, Emilie did such a great work on the mood board, so it was so easy to dive into and just pick out stuff you wanted. And first time I saw the colors, I saw just like 2 little pieces of fabric from the dress, and I was so surprised from the colors because it was like so screamish, but in a way that also added that actually Disney, which is not so much a Disney layer, but there was a little Disney layer and all the flowers and everything. And there was something about the whole flowery, silky, everything together with something really gory and disgusting, which was all the time underneath everything, like the flowers with the worms, and then and like the way when something really, really pretty becomes moldy. That was very much yeah, exactly. When like if you have a really, really cute little girl's pink dress and then it's dirty, that was all the time the thought of it, that it should be pretty, 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 just to dissolve into something disgusting.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. But I just want to say thank you guys. I am rooting for you guys. I am hoping that you guys get that Oscar nomination. You do. It's well deserved. My name is Dan Skip Allen. I'm with FromTheFourthRow.com and Gone with the Wind. I appreciate the time today, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure too. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Yeah. No.